Hello everybody, I am Oscar.
And I'm not Oscar. I'm actually Gary.
Yes, I should introduce myself sometimes as I am not Gary. Welcome to another Heel Picture review. This is another 2014 film, and this film is David Michod's, I think that's
Michod.
David Michod's The Rover, which is based on a story by Joel Edgerton. I think this is also written by David Michod, I'm not sure.
Yeah, it is.
And it stars Guy Pearce and Robert Pattinson, and the plot of the film is... do you want to take it away, Gary, for the plot?
Basically, it's about another guy. It's about the global economic depression. And also, it's about this guy. Things happen. He basically...
He has to go on a journey to retrieve something.
Yes, we don't want to say too much.
And along the way, he meets... Robert Pattinson's character.
Yes.
My expectations going into the film was that I was looking forward to it because I remember seeing the teaser trailer, which didn't have said nothing about the film, and I just remember thinking to myself, wow, Guy Pearce looks pretty damn good in the film, and I just remember thinking that the cinematography looked great, and it gave a Last of Us vibe to me at least. I was kind of looking forward to see Robert Pattinson in this type of role because I do think he can be good in certain films, and that was my expectation. I was looking forward to it.
My expectations, I was looking forward to this movie. I was not expecting it. I was not expecting it would have been set in Australia. I was expecting it at something like Western American, like Texas area of America, because.
Yeah, I see what you mean by
the Texas accent is there. I love the film. I love the film first time viewing. I love that movie. But second time, I felt a little bit boring. Acting, fantastic. It gives me a Prisoners vibe to it when I watch this movie. I don't know why, because you've got that fatherly character. You've got Robert Pattinson, which reminds me a bit like the guy in Transformers in prisons. I forgot what his name is.
Detective Loki?
Not Detective Loki. The other guy who goes crazy.
Do you mean
not Paul Dano?
Yeah, I know you mean. Yeah, the dude who's in the Dark Knight.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Maze dude.
He reminds me of him. I don't know why, because he's nothing like him.
I can see what you mean though.
But he's just got that vibe.
The mannerisms and stuff.
Yes. Yeah. A few other characters I was really shocked about was the grandma. I don't want to say too much about that. I was really surprised about that. I was not expecting that.
That gave kind of like a Melissa Leo vibe from Prisoners. I see what I mean. Another link to that.
A little bit.
Yeah.
The cinematography is beautiful in this movie. She's done a lot of indie movies. She's actually a female.
Yeah, I looked her up. It was mainly. This is the only film I know of.
So the cinematography's gorgeous. Some of the camera shots, such as like the camera when the camera's behind the truck. And the car is going very slowly, and the camera is following the car. That is a beautiful shot with the background and everything. As I am a photography nerd, I love that kind of stuff. Soundtrack. Some songs are okay. There is annoying bits of the soundtrack, such as like the long, I don't know what it is.
I know what you mean, like just one tone.
It's just one tone. I wasn't a fan of that. I was expecting a Prisoner style vibe to it. I don't expect anything.
You should really stop comparing every film to Prisoners. This was your problem with Enemy. Here's my review of the Rover. I wouldn't say that I wasn't surprised by it. I wasn't really nothing really exceeded my expectations. I thought that the acting by both Guy Pearce and Robert Pattinson were great. This is something that I haven't seen. The type of character that Robert Pattinson plays in this film is completely different to what I've seen him play. It's like he's not a manly guy. He's kind of like how do I put it? He's kind of like I'm trying to think of like an exact like a character that I can think of. Forrest Gump. There you go. He's kind of like Forrest Gump in the sense that he doesn't have mental problems. At least we don't know of. But he's not fully with it in the sense that he's not a smart guy. He's kind of childish in that sense, and it's kind of cool to see him like that because we've always seen him very brooding and just like Like for example, like in Twilight, and even in The Goblet of Fire, he was kind of the same type of character. Guy Pearce, along with Andy Serkis, I think gives the best performance of this year. I think that if anything to take away from this film is that Guy Pearce is an incredible actor, and the way that the story took his character really felt you kind of got to. I wouldn't say you kind of got to know them, but you just kind of like, it was cool just to see his journey. And it didn't really feel like a big life-changing experience for him. It just felt like, oh, this is another journey for me in the times of this world now. Cinematography was great, fantastic. There were some shots that were absolutely breathtaking, like the car driving down.
Especially the opening scene.
The opening scene, well,
car.
Yeah, when it was a chase.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't really a chase.
Not the chase, but like the beginning where the car...
Right, yeah, I know what you mean. Oh, that was great. And the shot with, when, just like when Guy Pearce is just looking at things, and it's just like, great shots like that. But then there were some of the shots which were just like, they're there. But the one things I really did like were like the long takes. Like the take when Guy Pearce was following the midget.
I love that scene.
Yeah, it's like, it's just a one long take.
I love
it's
that
like,
dude as well.
Yeah, it was just like
Stop whispering! I don't want to swear there.
It's just like a long take, and it's just it reminds me of things like There Will Be Blood. They're seeing if the scene will drag, and if it does, then it's fine because it's just like a slow burn. That's kind of like the overall vibe I would say about this film. It's a slow burning film. Like, it's not like quick bang bang, guns flying everywhere, explosions, boom. It's not an action film at all. It's a very slow burner. Did like the score. I did like the soundtrack. Unlike you, I do like the one tone type of things. That's kind of why I like the soundtrack for Enemy as well, and the soundtrack for There Will Be Blood is similar to that as well. It's very it's almost like a horror type of soundtrack, even though it's not a horror film. It goes with the tone and the cinematography, just slow burn into the film, like making it kind of drag out that bit more, which is a hit, which can be a hit for me. But some points, honestly, it was a miss. Like, my positives out the way with, I loved the cinematography, soundtrack was great, Guy Pearce was absolutely fantastic in the film. Negatives, this did drag a bit, especially in the middle part. Beginning, I was fully with it, and I was like, yes, bring it on. Middle, there were just some moments which just really stretched out. And although I do like moments like that in some films, again, going back to it, There Will Be Blood, and even Prisoners had some moments of that where just like slow burned. But with this film, nothing really happened enough to make me that invested in a scene. That's what kind of was disappointing. Like, the dialogue kind of felt throwaway at some points. I didn't feel like I got to know Guy Pearce's character at all, or even Robert Pattinson's. I guess you could have made this as a short film and it would have been perfect. You could have cut out so many scenes from this film.
And long shots.
No, I'm fine with long shots. I mean, like the dialogue scenes, like when it's just Guy Pearce and Robert Pattinson just sitting and just talking. And it's just like, you could cut this out and the film would have been fine. And there are some scenes where it's like where Guy Pearce shoots someone, and it's like, you could have just cut that out and it would have been fine. You didn't need that scene at all. And the ending, I liked the ending. I liked the reveal of what exactly was the Rover, like what the title is. Like, it's cool. Like, you think it's one thing most of the time, and then not until the end you're like, right. Acting, yeah, overall I really like the actor. I think the acting's super. I think that might be the strongest part of the film, along with the cinematography. I do think David Michod did a great job of directing the film. But unfortunately, I do think that there are some slow points and there are a lot of unneeded scenes in the film. For a lot of people, it would borderline just boring. Like, a lot of people would just think this is just a boring mess of a film. Why would you bother watching this? And I can understand where people might come that from.
You're probably not your typical average moviegoer, but like people.
This is definitely a film for this is definitely a film for people who are indie buffs. There are films this year that have come out this year, like Under the Skin and Enemy, which can be taken that way, but I do think that The Rover is a little bit more... I would say, like, Under the Skin has elements that mainstream people will like. Enemy has elements that mainstream people will like. The Rover, I don't think has any elements mainstream people like. Guns, that's it. Like, this film... This film will bore a lot of people.
Yeah.
And it almost bored me.
That's why I said I recommended this film to somebody, and I said don't expect too much going into it. Just think of it.
It's a very simple story in that sense.
That's
like,
what it probably makes.
Like, it's not like a war, like a gang war or anything. It's just like
just a guy,
a dude who wants this one thing and he's after this one thing. What were your opinions on Robert Pattinson? Like, just overall in the film.
Good.
Just yeah.
I felt he was annoying first time viewing.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, you can. I can see what you mean. He can be. Sound editing and sound mixing, fantastic. The sounds, not like soundtrack, but the sounds, great. The gun sound effects, very piercing, and very realistic in that sense. So, what are your overall thoughts of the film, Gary, of The Rover, to the people out there?
It's a good movie.
Just a good movie.
Yeah.
My overall thoughts essentially: great acting, great cinematography, really good soundtrack.
Basically what we just said before.
Really good soundtrack. It does drag a bit. There are quite a lot of unneeded scenes, but I'm not sure if I would recommend it. I would be like, look into it, and then see if you want to go into it. So we're going to go into spoiler territory now. If you want to see The Rover, you don't want to know spoilers about it. Leave this video, go watch The Rover, come back, watch this. What were you going to say, Gary? Come in the shot first. A little bit more.
Were you shocked when you actually found out who Guy Pearce was? Like, has he killed his wife? Like,
what, was I shocked when he killed his wife?
Yes, were you expecting that?
And I was expecting some dark secret from him.
Right.
Because it's like Joel from The Last of Us. I'm expecting some darkness between this, like this guy who's clearly not with it. He's clearly not stable. Like
He felt like a Hugh Jackman, basically, didn't he?
Yeah. Like
it's like he could do anything just to get what
he would do anything. Just yeah. And the whole thing behind it is that he's chasing after this car. And you're thinking, like, why does he need this car so badly? Is it just because it's the only thing he has left in the world?
Yes.
Kind of. It's his dog. It's his dead dog. It was actually a decent surprise, like the dog thing. I was like, oh wow, that's.
Yeah.
I thought he was just after the car. No, he was after what's in the car.
Were you also shocked when he killed the girl?
I wouldn't say surprised. I was just going like, oh wow. Like, it wasn't like a big like, oh my god, I can't believe he did that. It was more like, oh, that's a shame. But one thing I was surprised at is when his brother killed him. That's the one thing I was like, oh damn, he actually...
Didn't he? And he shot him. Yeah.
That's what I was shocked about, when he shot the midget in the head.
Yes, I love that scene. Like, with all the blood and all, bits of brain.
That's when I was like, oh, wow, this is...
I was not expecting that.
If we're going to get violence... That's what I kind of liked. It's like, there was so little violence in the film, that when violence happened, you were like, oh god, this happened. It was like, oh, that happened. Oh, Jesus, it's like that moment. Like there's so little gunfire and violence and action in the film. Like, when it happens, you're like, oh, unsettling.
We didn't know what actually happened. It's like before everything kicked off.
I'm guessing it's like they robbed a shop.
Maybe.
That's what I'm guessing. Do you really need to know, though?
I thought you did.
Okay. I think it's just because we were following Guy Pearce. That we just didn't need it. Like, we only need to know what he knows.
Right.
Like, it's like he wasn't bothered, like, hey, what were you doing? He was just like, where's my car? The way he interrogated people was cool. It's like, Guy Pearce, Guy Pearce stole the show, this film.
Yeah.
If anything, watch this film for a fantastic performance by Guy Pearce.
And also, another funny moment is where the guy with the glasses, and he sits on the couch. I hate Pearce. I love that.
You did,
sorry. I hate Pearce. Alright, you're in a serious situation. You want to read, you want to have a wee.
I don't know. I might want
You
to.
might have to beat that out a bit out. But I don't know. This was my favourite film of 2014, but now I'm actually thinking about it, I don't think it is.
Okay.
That's what I was going to say. You might have to cut that.
No, I'm keeping it here. I'm keeping it in
a specific spot.
In a specific spot. Thanks guys for watching. I'm glad we've done a bit of a shorter review. You know, I'm glad.
It's sharp.
Links are going to be down below for Twitter and Facebook for all the Heel Pictures crew. Until next time, guys, we shall see you later.
Get Stuckmanized. No, get heelanized.
We're going to have to pay Stuckman now for trademarks.
Sorry, Stuckman. I have to cut that out.
Not leaving it there.
Now we'll get. Hang on, I'm trying to think of a slogan.
Okay, I'll wait for you to think of one. Go on, we'll wait.
Get heelanized. Get Oscarized. Get heelanized. That's all I can think of. Never mind.
If we're going to steal trademark stuff, we may as well steal the Jeremy Johns punch. Stepped on DVDs. No.
Don't crack them.